think desperately needs to retire?
Miss Jeffree Star? Sorry.
I think, well, I mean, he's making hundreds.
Oh my gosh, I'm back. Oh my gosh, guys, I just got back from the Balenciaga fashion show. So excuse me if I'm a little late. Okay, we need to talk because I feel like we need to talk. Y'all were blowing me up on my Instagrams and Twitter and stuff like that, telling me that James Charles shaded Jeffree Star. You don't say, oh my God, no, that didn't happen. So I was like, really? Let's find out the tea, girl. Cause if he did shade Jeffree Star, I'm gonna throw up in my Birkin. Like that, okay? I thought this drama was over the house. But here we are, years later, and they're still at it again, girl. It's just like, oh my God, it's like Star Wars up here. It's Game of Thrones between James Charles and Jeffree Star. Alright, so primero impacto exclusivo en vivo. So I checked out the video.
Close your eyes. Yeah, why are you walking like that? Relax.
In today's video, I'm gonna be playing Truth or Shot with my friends Mario and Amari. I asked you guys to send us the absolute juiciest questions that you could possibly come up with.
And we'll try and spill some tea. By the end of this video, we're probably gonna be pretty drunk.
Yeah.
Oh, no. Wait, where's my chaser? Okay, wait, that tastes good. I'm here. Hi.
Okay, Slay.
Yeah, what? Cut that.
Oh, wow. Why? What
It
happened?
caused a mini scandal. Cheers to love, cheers to honor, everyone.
Aw,
Moving on.
that's just funny.
Alright, let's keep this going.
Yeah.
What YouTuber do you think desperately needs to retire?
Oh, God.
Mama's gonna black
Me.
out.
I honestly feel like a lot of the YouTubers who've been around for so long like have kind of like moved on.
Yeah, so this is tough. I'm like, Jeffree can retire, right? Miss Jeffree Star?
Chose the right channel to say that
I mean,
on.
he's the
Oh, right.
Here we go.
Oh, sorry.
I think, well, I mean, he's making hundreds.
And I was quite shocked.
Sorry.
I think, well, I mean, he's making hundreds.
So Amari Stewart was in there with, let's not forget, is Tana Mojo's best friend. Which is so interesting to me because, you know, Tana Mojo blocked James Charles on like everything. She doesn't want any association with James Charles. But her best friend, Amari Stewart, still hangs out with James Charles. I'm not saying that she has to choose a side. I'm just saying it's very interesting tea. And I brought this up time and time again, how like, a lot of influencers are still friends with James Charles off the heels of him admitting to talking to underage kids and stuff like that, and the multiple allegations and how they just stand by him even though all that drama went down. And they don't ever address it or say anything. They're just quietly still his friend, right? Anyways. But Amari Stewart still stood by his side. And I will say that Amari Stewart has been a really good friend of Tana Mojo. He's a good friend, right? I mean, I heard some stories about Tana Mojo. A lot, it's very damaging stories, but we're not here for that video today, okay? But Amari Stewart knows a lot of tea about Tana Mojo, and he keeps it cute. He keeps it cute. I think that Amari Stewart is a good friend, and I think he sees it like Chanel, like he sees both sides of it, okay? But let us not forget, we wouldn't know who Amari Stewart was if it wasn't for James Charles or Tana. But I wouldn't know. I would not know who Amari was. It was for Tana and Amari. Because Tana put him in video time and time again, and you know what I'm saying, he cultivated a little brand for himself. So to say that he was a starlet on his own, I don't know. I just wouldn't know of him if it wasn't for those two girls. Well, in the video, they are basically getting drunk in the house, which again, I find extremely problematic. And I've never been the person to struggle with substance abuse like that, of alcoholic beverages or whatever. My dad was a raging alcoholic. He would drink the house. He drunk himself to death, literally with cirrhosis of the liver. I've never found drinking to be glamorous. Do my friends drink? Absolutely. Go at it. I just don't find it glamorous. At the same time, I think I'm too much of a control freak to want to give up that power to not remember what I did the day before. I don't know. I just can't. I freak out. If I got drunk, girl, I probably would think I'm having a panic attack and need to go to the doctor because I think I have some rare disease or something like that. Like, I'm so much of a hypochondriac, I wouldn't even know what that feeling is. Although, I did take sumatriptan for my migraine and it gave me what's called a post-drum headache, and someone said that that was just like being hungover, which if you know what being hungover feels like, which I don't. I'm pretty sure it's just the feeling of being post-drum headache on sumatriptan 100 mg, going to the gigs. You don't want to leave the house. You just feel extremely dizzy and nauseous and throw up in my Birkin. But I wouldn't know. Anyways, extremely problematic that once again, James Charles is getting drunk the house. It is not the first time that he's made a video about getting drunk. He made a whole video before. Then he got super drunk on his birthday. And here he is with his friends spilling the tea and they're getting drunk again. Glamorized. I just don't think that getting blackout drunk is so glamorous. Like I just don't. I understand. Maybe I just see it differently, girl. I just don't see that to be cool. I just don't see it to be cool. I just don't. Wrecking your liver is cool now. I just don't get it. Okay. So they're asking questions, and if you don't want to answer the question, then you take a shot. That's the thing of the video. Okay. That's the whole problematic of it all. So the question arises about Jeffree Star. Now, this is where people said that James Charles was shading Jeffree Star in this video. So when I watched it, I was like, okay, I see what you're saying, but like not really. Okay, so they asked him something about Jeffree Star. We have the clip. So here's my opinions on the situation. Okay, so James Charles didn't really answer it in a shady way. He basically said, oh, last I heard or something, he's multi-millionaire. Living on a ranch with yaks, basically what he said. Okay, but then Amari had some other things to say, and then they all started kind of like just laughing at each other. And that's where I was kind of like, very interesting tea. To me, it just felt like I got the vibe that they were like just making fun of Jeffree Star because he's a little bit older. And they were like, oh, he's still doing what we're doing, but he's like older than us, like type vibe. Like I kind of feel that. So I just kind of feel like, well, when you're his age, who's to say that you're not gonna be doing the same thing? You're not gonna still making content or videos, whatever. I don't know. I'm just saying. So it just kind of seemed kind of shady. And if this was maybe 2-3 years ago, Jeffree Star would have responded. People would have made videos, boom, 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 boom. And in fact, I checked Jeffree Star's Twitter and his Instagram, and I'm like, I could see how this could be shade, but I don't think he's directing it to James Charles or that video. Will Jeffree Star make a response? He could, because it's a new day, girl. He could make a video if he wanted. He could make a video, girl. I would clutch my pearls if he made a video about James Charles. And I don't think he would make a video. I think he'll put out a little shady tweet, put out a little shady Instagram story. Oh, Miss Charles still running her mouth and stuff like that. That's the vibe I get. But the situation is, here we are again with James Charles drinking with his friend. Oh, hold on. So there's this new guy in the video. Girl, every day, that's like, I get introduced to some new TikToker or YouTuber with millions of subscribers that I've never heard of, that have this whole community behind them. So I'm like, okay, girl. And their own dramas, too, let's not forget. Because God forbid you become friends with everybody on the internet. Did you know they did this 5 years ago? Like, you know what I'm talking about? They had a problematic past. But I think James Charles kept it cute. I just don't like, and I'm allowed to say it, right? And this is where we're gonna agree to disagree, so leave your comments down below. But, you know, I do think that, and I've said this before, and I've been contradicted and stuff like that. You know, a lot of these YouTubers with millions of subscribers, they say, I'm not here to be a role model. They say that. I have heard YouTubers say, I'm not a role model. Your family, your mom, your dad, whatever, your brothers, they're your role models. They should set the trend, right? I'm not here for that. That's what they say. That's what they say. Okay, and I'm like, you have millions of subscribers of a young audience, okay? And we're gonna get to that in a minute. You would think that they would feel some obligation. Some have, I mean, like, I have millions of people watching me. I think the responsible thing to do is have some responsibility that I do owe my audience a little something more, to be a little less crass or something like that. You know what I'm saying? But again, they don't do that. They don't see it that way, because getting drunk on camera and spilling the tea or trying to spill the tea and playing as a joke and glamorizing drinking and alcohol abuse and binge drinking, I just don't see that to be a positive thing. I just don't see the positive thing, right? And I'm not saying that James Charles, all his videos need to be positive, but I just kind of feel like it's just not a good look in that situation. Yikes, you know what I'm saying? Unless he wants to be controversial, unless he wants the clicks and views to get people to talk about, then I understand that, girl, okay? 100% wholeheartedly. But with that being said, I think that James Charles does owe his audience some type of the younger audience some type of respect, right? And then I start to ask myself, well, who is James Charles' audience, right? Wait, so if they're not within the realms of Jeffree Star's age, because they're making fun of Jeffree Star's age and the snickering. I mean, that's how I took it. I'm not allowed to have an opinion. That's how I took it. And yet they're not super young because here they are getting blackout drunk and talking about hooking up with people and stuff like that. Then I just kind of feel like, I think James Charles' audience and James Charles as a person, and is trying to figure out where his audience is. Because if it's not super young and it's not over here, then it's somewhere in here. But I think that James Charles is trying to grow, but his audience is not growing with him. And I say that because his views don't reflect that, right? Where you have someone like, I don't know, like Graveyard Girl, who her audience has grown, but she has stayed in a certain demographic, so that way new demographic comes and they find her there. So you know what I'm saying? It's almost like you just pass through that as opposed to let's grow together. And I think that it's extremely hard to grow with your audience. I'm talking about when James Charles started YouTube, the same audience that was like maybe in high school when he was, maybe they're in college when he was, maybe now they're buying their first house or getting their first apartment or getting their first relationship, real serious one, right? Is James Charles going along with that, or is he sticking to what he's always done and just getting new subscribers along the way? Hopefully the older ones will come back and visit. It's just very interesting, the dichotomy between that two situations though. But I do think that James Charles is somewhere lost in the middle, and then that's why he might be drinking for views. I don't know. But I do find it problematic for him to do that. Especially if you're someone who struggles with alcohol abuse or alcoholic abuse, whatever. And you know, there's this big question about, is alcohol a drug? You know, when I read in the textbooks, alcohol is a drug. And here James Charles is glamorizing it for views and clicks. And I find it a little bit problematic. I find it problematic because I don't do it. But I'm not gonna sit here and like talk like I'm holier than thou. If he wants to do it, go drink your heart out, James Charles. Do whatever makes you feel happy. I'm just gonna be over here looking at you like, very interesting tea. Let me know what you think about that drama in the comments down below. You guys like my makeup today? I spent like 5 minutes doing it. Can you tell? Anyways, I'll let you guys go and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye, love you so much.